against Ayala. Marco Antonio Barrera pointed out to us yesterday both fighters began their careers fighting as junior bantamweights at 115 pounds. Now they fight each other at 126, and Barrera might even be contemplating going up to 130 to face his old rival Morales one more time. A 4-year age advantage for Marco Antonio. Half-inch height advantage as well. 2-inch advantage in arm length measured from the armpit to the end of the fist. They both weighed in within a half pound of the featherweight limit of 126. Tonight unofficially, Paulie Ayala, the chunkier of the two, will go into the ring weighing 5 pounds more than Marco Antonio Barrera. Rules of the bout, whether unofficial ringside scorer Harold Letterman.
Okay, Jim, listen up because they're a little different. The Marco Antonio Barrera Paulie Ayala fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the rules of the California State Athletic Commission. There is no 3 knockdown rule. The doctor or the referee can stop the fight. In case a cut is caused by an accidental headbutt, we go to the scorecards at the start of the 4th round, and you can be saved by the bell in the 12th and final round only. Jim.
And as Ayala prepares to enter the ring, we offer thanks to his lovely wife, Letty, without whose simple answer, yes, this fight couldn't have taken place.
Yes, and Letty's maiden name, it turns out, is Barrera. And her people come from Mexico City, as does Barrera. So Barrera says he told Ayala that after he beats him, he'll hug him, he'll embrace him, and thank him as a distant cousin.
Ayala's had only one fight in the year and a half since the loss to Morales. Is that layoff likely to damage him, Emmanuel, or help him?
Well, I don't like to see small fighters lay off, because there's a rule in history that's proven that it's been detrimental, except from the Mark Johnson situation. But the fact that Barrera hasn't been that overactive neither, I think it may not hurt him as much. But as a rule, I don't think it's helped him at all. I think it did hurt him.
High-energy fighter has won big fights largely by out-hustling his opponents. That would be the same formula by which he might have a chance to win tonight. And, of course, keep in mind that Ayala is a southpaw, fighting against the conventional fighter Barrera. And here in the stadium, you feel the love that still attaches to the man who became, in the wake of Julio Cesar Chavez, maybe the most beloved Mexican idol, or at least 50-50 with Morales, Marco Antonio Barrera.
His great first fight with Morales, and then the way he beat up Prince Nassim, made him a Mexican hero for all time, no matter what happens from here on out.
He also, of course, was in the very first Boxing After Dark telecast ever, Feb 3, 1996, a fabulous fight against Kennedy McKinney that set the tone for the series that still stands to this day. Can he gain a rematch with Pacquiao? Can he perhaps move toward a third fight, a rubber match with Eric Morales? It all depends on how he looks tonight. Let's go up to ring announcer Michael Buffer for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, Oscar de la Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions presents 12 rounds of boxing between two of the very best in the featherweight division. Brought to you in association with Top Rank Incorporated and sponsored by Budweiser and Sequan Resort and Casino. Sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission, Chairman Sanford Michaelman, Vice Chairman Chris Mears. The 3 judges at ringside scoring this contest will be Jose Cobian, Max DeLuca, and Jack Reese. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, Pat Russell. And now, from the Home Depot Center of Carson, California, here in the greater Los Angeles area, ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black, his official weight, 126 pounds, his professional record, 35 victories, including 12 knockouts, with only 2 defeats. From Fort Worth, Texas, here is the former 2-time champion of the world, Paulie Ayala. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing blue with white and officially weighing in at 125½ pounds. His professional record, 57 victories, including 40 knockouts with 4 defeats and 1 no decision. Damas y caballeros de Ciudad de Mexico, the 3-time champion of the world, the baby-faced assassin, Marco Antonio Barrera.
Boxer in 1 second. Okay, there's the line right there. There's the line right there. 12 rounds. Buena suerte. Touch him up. Come out at the bell.
Is Marco Antonio Barrera the Barrera of old, or just an old Barrera?
I'm just as anxious as you are, Larry, to find out. You know, he's one of my favorite fighters.
One of everybody's favorite fighters. And should be, not only for the fabulously entertaining career of fights he's put together, but also because he's one of the better people in the sport.
And look at his outfit he's got on tonight. He's got to be definitely maybe the best dressed boxer possibly in boxing, too.
It's a very pretty pair of trunks, no question about it.
Trunks,
so Barrera
shoes.
begins round 1, hoping to exert some authority early to reestablish his competitive mystique. Because let's face it, at his peak, guys went into the ring against Barrera recognizing that usually they were stepping way up in class.
Yeah. But, you know, Barrera, he jabbed, but, you know, it's interesting. He fought, I think, 3 of his last 5 opponents were southpaws. So he's very comfortable. He should be at least fighting southpaws. But for what I can see, it still looks like he's vulnerable for a straight left through the center, looking at his body position as he's jabbing, particularly when he's jabbing. And
Now will Paulie try to knock off Barrera's jab with his right hand?
Right. And see, Paulie's not a big puncher, but when he got in trouble with Pacquiao, it was when he would throw the jab, and Pacquiao would take advantage of it by picking the jab off and then shooting a straight 1-2 right through the middle on Barrera, and he still seems to be vulnerable for that.
Exactly the reason I was asking about Ayala's tactics against the jab. Barrera's jab, if anything, worked against him, against Manny Pacquiao.
He leaves himself open for a right hand when he jabs.
And a good, solid right hand by Barrera backs Ayala up. It's not easy to back Paulie Ayala up. He wants to keep coming.
Ayala, who usually fights like he's trying to storm a beach, has been defensive and retreating through most of this round so far.
Which was a part of his professed strategy coming in. He said, I'm going to box more. And, you know, we all took that as, okay, we'll believe it when we see it. But, yes, he's fought the first round with a different tactical mindset.
Well, can he be effective in that way?
No, the left jab of Barrera is a very effective punch in this fight. He's fighting a very patient, seemingly intelligent fight. And the left jab is what's dominating the fight right now, which is very smart.
Crowd wants more action. Perhaps they expected to see a war from the get-go. Instead, it's a tactical boxing match in round 1, and Marco Antonio Barrera seems to have the faster hands and the advantage.
Yeah, he's doing it when he wants. He moves his body at one speed and then punches at a different speed.
Ayala trying straight left hands down the pipe. Swinging wildly with the right hook. Another solid 1-2 from Barrera, and again, he backed Ayala up a step with the right hand.
Well, this is the way he normally fights southpaws, because I've seen him dissect quite a few, not just Hamed. I think Enrique Sanchez, he fought with a southpaw, Kevin Kelly, all of those guys. But Pacquiao fought with so much intensity and speed, and at that time, it was just too much for him where his mind was at that particular night.
I got a wild hunch Paulie Ayala can't beat Marco Antonio Barrera from that distance.
No,
he's going to have to close ground.
The left jab is controlling the fight.
And as we go to Marco Antonio Barrera's corner where they speak Spanish, our interpreter is Ray Torres.
Be careful with that foot, his left foot. Yeah, open up now. You need to remember, downstairs. Downstairs, that's what you got to punch. The jab is going in perfectly. Real good jab.
Dropping that right hand. Every time he jabs, he drops the right hand. Come back with your left, okay? Throw a lot of lead lefts and use your speed. and I want you to change them around. I want you to throw a lead left to the stomach and come back to the hip. We want to double up on that left. He can't handle your left, okay? Move, remember, move away from his right. Of course he's right.
Working in Paulie Ayala's corner as a cut man is Chuck Bodak. And Manny, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Chuck is past 90 years old.
I don't know. He's been around a long time. He's worked with so many fighters. The year that I won the National Golden Gloves, should have been in Chicago. He was in Chicago then. He was an elderly gentleman then. That was a 63.
An astonishingly vibrant human being. You know Chuck, if you've watched the fights carefully over the years, he's the guy who wears basically a set of decals as a hat.
He's a very nice man, too.
And you heard Henry Mendez, Ayala's trainer, saying he drops his right hand when he throws the jab. Let's try to strafe him with straight left hands. Ayala hasn't really stepped up into the pocket to do that yet.
At this stage here, Barrera's fighting a very smooth and intelligent fight. Very, very, very cool, calm. Placing his punches very effective. And I think as the fight goes on, he's going to start mixing up things a lot more.
This is not the warrior Barrera of early in his career. This is the tactical boxer Barrera who emerged around the time of the fight against Prince Nassim Hamed.
That's right. Very focused, very well trained. And it seems to be very comfortable with southpaws. It seems like Paulie is waiting on a big exchange, and in the meantime, when he's waiting on Barrera to exchange, Barrera just hitting him with a jab.
And there came the straight left hand that Henry Mendez was asking for. Barrera came back with a couple of body shots to counter that. Yeah. Now Paulie Ayala is beginning to attack a little more, charging forward, trying to land both his jab and his left hand.
But if you notice, Barrera parries off those straight left hands with his right hand. He only is vulnerable to get hit with straight lefts, usually when he's in the process of delivering a jab. When he delivers a jab, he kind of falls off balance. But to just throw a straight left hand at him, he seems to peck it off with his right glove all the time. You have to catch him when he's throwing a jab.
At this stage of his maturity, I think it's probably more accurate to call Barrera the poker-faced assassin rather than the baby-faced assassin. It's always been fascinating to watch his utter expressionlessness in there.
Yeah, he reminds me a lot of Charles Bronson.
Jab to the body by Barrera.
Ayala has always been most effective when he is simply out-hustled his opponents, and he is not trying to do that yet.
Indeed, to the degree that anybody's getting out-hustled, it's Ayala. Barrera is able to do more. And there's a right and a left that landed flush and backed Ayala up again.
Everything is working behind Barrera's jab. He's got him so busy watching the jab, and when he comes in, that's when Barrera explodes and counterpunches.
And it's so obvious that Marco can see everything coming from Paulie. He's picking these punches off one at a time with great dexterity.
He's maintaining a distance where he's very comfortable and he can work at it, can see the punches coming, and take one step back and counterpunch.
Another brilliant round by Marco Antonio Barrera, and Paulie Ayala is going to have to find some different answers.
Phil. Okay. Look, let's counter that jab. So
July 14, Sports of the 20th Century returns with Hitler's Pawn. This film, a deeply poignant story, explores the hopes and heartaches of Margaret Lambert, a Jewish athlete dreaming of representing her native Germany in the 1936 Olympic Games in Berlin during the rise of the Nazi Party. Amazing story. July 14, Sports of the 20th Century, Hitler's Pawn.
You're doing good, okay? Just keep the head moving. He won't be able to land that jab, and we want to counter that, okay? Remember your head movement, baby. You got to move your head, all right?
Left and right and move.
Yeah, incidentally, fellas, I've been told by Bill Kaplan of Top Rank that Raul Marquez announced his retirement after the last fight.
Well, probably wasn't headed toward any more big fights, and I guess for Raul, there's no point in fighting just to fight. He's got a productive career as an expert commentator already underway. In round two, Marco Antonio Barrera was totally dominant in punch-stat numbers. CompuBox finding Barrera landing 21 out of 51, Ayala 5 out of 33. Still, trainer Henry Mendez said to Ayala between rounds, "You're doing well."
Whoa, what about? Stop No elbows, that's it. Good, just like
Sometimes the trainer just wants to encourage the
Yeah,
fighter.
but it's not doing too well here. You know, Barrera is just at one step ahead of him. Very relaxed, just enough, not too much distance. Just keep just enough distance where he can take just enough to let him miss and be in a position to punch back effectively also.
Two great sportsmen. Ayala careened into the ropes off balance. When he came back to the center of the ring, they touched gloves.
Well, Barrera wasn't that much of a sportsman with Hamed when he took his head and rammed it into the corner.
That was a different story, Manny. That was a public mandate. That was for the good of society.
And the crowd loved it, too.
Doggone right. I called it the best moment of the new century. Round 3 of the scheduled 12 in what has so far been a tactical boxing match between Marco Antonio Barrera in the navy blue, Paulie Ayala in the black. A tactical boxing match dominated so far by the very skillful Marco Antonio Barrera, showing no ill effects tonight from his beating at the hands of Manny Pacquiao last November. Barrera easily able to just move his head and dodge those flicking punch attempts by Ayala.
He's moving back just enough and parrying the left-hand shots off with his right hand whenever Paulie shoots him.
And claiming the initiative with that jab over and over and over. Two great jabbers working tonight. You saw Jermaine Taylor make his jab work against a southpaw. Now Marco Antonio Barrera is doing exactly the same thing.
But Barrera's always is lining up and studying and seeing for the perfect opportunity to shoot that straight right hand or a right uppercut. Always jabbing, he's always looking to see that when he can shoot the right hand and which right hand to shoot.
And Paulie Ayala, whose big weapon should be a straight left hand, hasn't landed a single one of them in this round.
No. And Barrera's starting to pick up and starting to do more and more things, man. Left uppercuts, body punching. But the left hand jab is really the key to this fight.
And I repeat, from this distance, Paulie Ayala has no chance. He may as well go back to Fort Worth if he's going to fight Barrera from out there.
Especially when you look at the fact that he's not a big knockout puncher. So if he's getting behind, it's not like he can salvage everything with one big blow.
Sometimes a veteran fighter feels like a celebrity who has had too many flash bulbs popped in their face and just doesn't want to deal with it anymore.
And Ayala knows. You can see it in his face. He understands that he's underperforming.
We need to close up the zone a little bit, okay? We're reaching now. We're trying to reach, okay? So look, this time, let's start using the jab, okay? He's using the jab, you use your jab right back, okay? One quick jab right away, and then we'll go to a double jab. And then the next...
You're working beautifully. We don't want to change anything. You're working so good, just keep going. We can't... Keep throwing the punches. Yeah, if he doesn't throw, you throw. You put your combinations out there. Yeah, if he takes too long, you be first.
It's Barrera's boxing. He's keeping the fight at a distance. And even when he lands his punches, you notice he maintains a good distance. He never smothers himself after he lands a punch or jumps back too far.
Now here's some trivia, guys. Who do you think Marco Antonio Barrera shares a birthday with?
Somebody who has a birthday on the same day as his.
Well, it would be Muhammad Ali, January 17th.
January 17th.
One day after Roy Jones's birthday, 2 days after Bernard Hopkins' birthday.
4 days before Joe Frazier's
birthday. A lot of the strong fighters in boxing come through January.
Harold, how do you have it through 3?
I was born January 26th. 30-27, 3 rounds to nothing. Marco Antonio Barrera, based on clean punching, beautiful left jab, straight right combinations.
One viewer question which has come in over our website. What does the word Tapia mean on Barrera's trunks? Simple. It's his mother's maiden name. Which made it confusing the night he fought Johnny Tapia, of course.
Yeah, I never knew that. I'm glad someone called in that question because that was something that I wanted to know.
Ayala's wife's maiden name is Barrera.
Yeah,
Barrera's mother's maiden name is Tapia. And this does not necessarily mean that Tapia's mother's maiden name is Ayala.
What it does mean is that this fight is so one-sided. We are
talking about trivia.
Oh, stop!
Yeah, in the last round by CompuBox numbers, Larry, Barrera connected on 28 punches to only 4 for Ayala.
Well, so far, neither opponent has won a round in the 2 fights, as far as I could tell.
Great call. or as far as Harold Letterman could tell either. Harold's had a chance to score every round.
That's that counter right uppercut once again.
Barrera's just doing everything right.
Yeah, you know, he never leads with the right uppercut too much. He usually waits till he comes in and try to counter with it.
But I'm not sure we're seeing enough of Ayala to know how much of Barrera's left after Pacquiao.
I agree. He's not challenging that much, but I don't know. Maybe that's just Barrera fighting a smart fight. You know, I've always felt that if he fought Pacquiao again, it would be a different fight. Not saying that he would win, but I just don't think it would be the same fight.
Well, that's another viewer question on the website. Maybe a moot point at this moment because it appears Manny Pacquiao is headed right now toward a rematch with Juan Manuel Marquez to settle the issue of their leftover draw in Las Vegas. But one viewer asked, should Barrera seek a rematch with Pacquiao if he's able to win tonight?
I definitely think he should seek a rematch because you look at, he was mainly getting hit with the same punch when he was knocked down. It was when he would throw a jab and Pacquiao would counter the jab with a straight 1-2 and hit him straight through the center. And I just think his mind wasn't there that night. You know, every athlete has that night in any sport, and that was just a bad night for him.
And Marquez exposed the absence of variety in Pacquiao's game, which might aid Barrera's frame of mind if he goes in against him again.
I definitely think so. Focused and trained and determined, intelligent Barrera, I think it's going to be a big threat if he fights Pacquiao again.
Every time you throw that right hand, you hit him with it. Yeah, every time you throw, you hit him. So just keep throwing it. Yeah, work both hands. Yeah, you're working beautiful. Very good. Keep working the same way. Yeah. Your left hand is going to go in. The jab is beautiful.
Okay? And let's work his body a little. Let's slow him down where he won't read running so much. Okay? I know you can work that body, son. And let's do the footwork inside. When you get inside, just hook it.
Of a scheduled 12, the pattern holds as Harold Letterman scored the last round for Marco Antonio Barrera, as Larry pointed out. Jermaine Taylor won every round, or so it appeared, against Raul Marquez, and Marco Antonio Barrera has won every round, or so it appears, against Paulie Ayala. If anything, this fight is more one-sided. Body shot for Ayala. I asked Letty Ayala before the fight, I said, is tonight for you an active referendum on whether Paulie has any more fights after this? And she said absolutely. If he doesn't perform tonight, my next answer is no.
Well, I think he's one of the good examples in boxing where the guy has finished up, is handling his money seemingly very well.
Oh yeah, very down-to-earth person, very level-headed.
Yeah, still is always trained in his own hometown, his own gym. Good family man, so financially I think he could walk away if he decides to do so.
Yeah, his big extracurricular activity is to go do volunteer work in his church.
That's right.
Several hours per week. And that doesn't cost you much.
It doesn't cost much at all. May make a little donation, and that's about it.
Amazing church-based event here in Los Angeles. Day before yesterday, the funeral of Ray Charles at African Methodist Episcopal Church. Referee Pat Russell says a slip, not a knockdown, or perhaps a push, not a knockdown, I should say.
That's one where you could, you know, it was on the borderline, you know. He was maybe off balance, but if it wasn't for a punch, he would not have went down.
I agree with
Therefore,
you.
it could have been called a knockdown.
Manuel, you know, maybe it's that kind of punch should be a 1-point knockdown instead of a 2-point knockdown.
Yes. That right uppercut is what he's right now. You can see just waiting to counter punch with that right uppercut. But to me, I would probably have called it a knockdown if I was a referee.
Aside from getting closer and stepping up his energy level, what could Ayala do differently, Emmanuel?
It's nothing. He would have to just come in and start letting it all go because he's not going to win a decision if he keeps going at this rate. So he'd have to come in and just let it all hang out. And he's not a big puncher, so he's going to have to just come in and start working because he's getting beat anyway. And that's what he needs to do right there.
Let's go. Don't turn
Even
around.
at the risk of getting caught with that right uppercut. But you know, he's letting Barrera fight such a relaxed, intelligent fight that he's doing what he wants because he's not putting that much pressure on him.
At lower weights, an aggressive Ayala was able to overwhelm or overcome opponents. At this weight, at this age, he just can't get his motor racing.
Both factors, age, weight, and inactivity too. And that all three of them together is maybe too much for a small fighter.
Not a big enough hitter.
Now we know what he's doing, okay? You got to do a lot of that. And look, you got to work that body, son. Okay? Work the body now. Start working the body.
No knockdown, Coach. That was a trip, okay? No knockdown.
Yes, sir. Thank you. On your shell,
How you doing, kid?
Because now he's trying to throw the uppers, so we got to go in the shell. Now look, when you get...
Feint him and throw the right hand.
Coach, no knockdown, it was a trip.
Se tiene que dejar, como chingados, no se tiene que dejar.
You're gonna get him. You're gonna do it.
Dominarlo. Dominarlo es la palabra. Dominarlo con tu izquierda.
As you can see right here, he lands a right uppercut, but at the same time when he was losing his balance. So it's argumentative where the referee could have caused it because without a blow being thrown, he would not have went down. But it was really a case of his feet being all crossed up.
It was a foot tangle thing.
Yeah.
That was the way Pat Russell saw it. And incidentally, Russell made that ruling instantly. So credit him with a quick decision anyway. Power connects through 4. Yeah. That's an old piece of paper.
Jim, wasn't it Russell who was in the ring with Tapia and McKinney?
Yes, it was. Pat Russell was in the ring with Barrera and McKinney, you mean?
I'm sorry, Barrera and McKinney.
Feb 3, 1996, the beginning of the Boxing After Dark phenomenon.
I remember him saying to McKinney at the end, "You're the bravest fighter I ever saw," as he stopped the fight.
Well, Ayala's going to have to be braver if he's going to find a way to make this into a fight.
Yeah.
And finally, Paulie Ayala steps forward and lands an authoritative right hook.
Yeah, it's going to have to be more aggressive and with much more intensity. You know, so one thing that Pacquiao does bring to any fight, and he brings a lot of intensity, a lot of spirit, a lot of pressure. You cannot sit back and fight an intelligent, technical fighter like Barrera the way that he's fighting him.
Don't hold his head, let it out.
He's fighting Barrera's fight.
Watch the head.
He's making it. I mean, with rare exceptions, a few moments here and there, it's been like a sparring session for Marco Antonio. Just stand outside and target practice on your counter punches. Land the jab, throw a right hand every once in a while, pick Ayala off when on those rare occasions when Ayala's brave enough to come forward. It's been easy. And Ayala's face is beginning to swell all over.
To some degree, this is very much the way that Ayala lost to Morales, where he sat back and let Morales dictate the fight. And he's not the type of fighter that can do it. He's got to be in there throwing a lot of punches, out-hustling the opponent.
He was more spirited against Morales most of the time. I mean, Paulie's shown some signs in this round that he understands what's happening and he's going to try to press the issue a little more. But most of the time, Barrera has been able to fight this fight from a relaxed enough posture that he looks as though he's standing in line at Starbucks waiting for a vanilla latte.
Yes. And, you know, fighting a guy with a lot of intensity like Pacquiao is going to be a lot more different, though, regardless of
whole different experience.
Watch your head, step back. Now let him go. Don't spin around. Turn around. Marcos, turn around. Now go.
I imagine that Barrera is more of a Columbia coffee guy, not a latte guy.
Well, in anticipation of the upcoming Athens Olympics, round card girl Sarah Stage, 21 years old from Los Angeles, and her female companions tonight, all 3 round card girls, are wearing Speedo bathing suits. That is a preliminary look at something you might see in the swimming pool at Athens. Or maybe not. Got a swimmer's body, too. CompuBox numbers through 6. Barrera, 135 out of 371. Ayala, 49 out of 209. Well, maybe the arms are a little skinny.
Hit him up. Hit him. I don't care if the referee tells you something, okay? Come on.
He's got a round card girl's body. That's what it is. Perfect.
You be first, Paulie. Come on. That was a good round for you. Come on, you got to be.
Conversation continues between Henry Mendes and Paulie Ayala. Harold Letterman, how do you score it through 6?
Okay, Jim. 60-54, 6 rounds to nothing. Marco Antonio Barrera. Jim, I'll tell you, he's just circling left, doing the same thing all the time. Left jab, straight right hand, and a left hook underneath. Paulie Ayala trying like heck to get inside, to score, to do some damage, but he can't do it. Barrera doing just what you saw there.
All right, step out, both of you. Step out. Now take one step back. Now break.
Barrera is one of the few fighters we've ever seen who made a smooth transition from being an all-out aggressive brawler to being a boxer puncher. Ayala has been unable to make that transition.
Yeah, and he's made a complete turnaround and been extremely successful in both.
Well, how many fighters can do it? I mean, how many fighters can alter their style in mid-career?
There's a right uppercut again in there.
And he hurt Ayala.
Yeah, he hurt him because you didn't see it.
Letty Ayala may be preparing to say no right now.
Yeah, we saw Ayala before like that. He comes right back. And
He's got that fighter's instinct you talked about with regard to Jermaine Taylor. He just doesn't have much ammunition to use tonight.
Nope. And the uppercut was not a big punch, but it was a punch he didn't see.
One punch back here.
Good body shot by Barrera. Low left hook to the body. It's been a basic staple of his for a long time, both as a warrior and as a boxer.
Yeah, he made a great transition.
Let his head out. Let it out. Step back. Break. Now go.
I can't think of a fighter who made as pronounced a style change in mid-career as did Barrera and made it work.
I was thinking about the same thing. When he had to rate sluggers at the time when he was a slugger, he would have probably been rated #1 maybe. And then he made the transition to come down to technical boxers. He would have been maybe rated #1 in that. After about 5 years, that was unbelievable.
Absolutely right. It's
counterpuncher.
It's not as if Mike Tyson became Chris Bird. It's not quite that extreme, but that gives you an idea of what he was going for.
And a tremendous counterpuncher, not just a boxer, but a counterpuncher. See that? Once again, he's trying to land an uppercut when he comes in. Now, Paulie is very cautious. Now, whenever he comes in, he tries to throw a punch and starts going on a defense right away because he's looking to get caught with that uppercut.
That's one reason Barrera was able to do what we're talking about. There's overall intelligence and there's ring intelligence, two different things, and Barrera has both in great abundance.
You work and find that left, and you dominated him when doing it. That's the key. That's the key. That's the key. That's to dominate him with the left hand. That's it. That's no other thing. The left hand is going to do it.
Jab and upper, your left upper. Okay, I don't want it straight. In the minute after he catches onto the upper, let's come back with it straight. Keep moving your head and stay in that tail.
Here you see Barrera landing that little short right uppercut that Ayala didn't see, and that's what hurt him simply because of the fact that he didn't see it. And once he realized he got him hurt, he's trying now to open up, trying to get him out of there.
Barrera did such a brilliant veteran thing. You saw it in that replay as he used his left hand to position Ayala's head for the uppercut.
Yes.
He turned the head right into the uppercut. Brilliant. And he wins another round.
No elbows, let him out. Stop. Break. Take a step back.
There's a beautiful combination of uppercut, right uppercut, left hook to the body. 3 beautiful executed punches, all going at different areas, which makes it very difficult for someone to protect against.
A perfect creative combination. Paulie Ayala turns around, looks us right in the face as if to say, what can I do? Paulie will try to charge a little bit here. Fighter's instinct.
And Barrera has been very effective with the body punches in addition to the head shots.
Everything Paulie does is likely to give Barrera a chance to counter, and immediately Barrera muffles the attack.
But you see, Barrera goes right back to what's been working, the jab. He shoots his combinations, and then he goes right back to the jab after everything still. It's a sign of a very smart fighter.
So much variety in Barrera's game. As round by round has unfolded here,
Barrera a body shot
brought out wrinkle after wrinkle, nuance after nuance.
7, 8.
Paulie Ayala has never been on the canvas before tonight. Now he's been down twice in the 8th round.
This is a fight that should be stopped pretty soon. Ayala is in the position that Marquez was in earlier tonight. He'll make his last charge and try something.
Well, he gave a sign to his corner that he was okay when he got through. You know, maybe it needs something like this to stimulate him. But this is what he's been known for fighting, those type fights. The fights he fought with Tapia, fight of the year.
Raul Marquez announced his retirement after the previous fight against Jermaine Taylor. Paulie Ayala will probably go back to Fort Worth and think about it, but there's no prospect of a big fight after this for Ayala if it continues the way we've seen it, and it's hard to imagine why he would stick around for something less.
No, I think that definitely that if Paulie loses this fight, which it looks like he will, I think this will probably be his last fight. And I'm really glad for the great fights that he's given us if he does do that, and the fact that we can be proud of him that he's financially secure.
One of the most entertaining fighters of his era. A guy who's never given less than everything he physically brought to the ring. Tonight, outmatched.
We've got to get these rounds. That was a bad round for us. Okay? And if you feel okay, we'll continue. If you don't feel, you can. Okay. Look, you've got to get this guy.
Hey, how we doing?
We don't know.
You want to go on here?
Yeah.
Well, you got to show me a little bit more, son. I want you taking a beating, okay? I know.
Those last words.
The knockdowns are coming because of the variety of punches he's shooting from so many different angles, which makes it almost impossible to protect against.
That was Pat Russell's words you heard at the end. I don't want you to take a beating, son. The same guy who once gave such encouragement to Kennedy McKinney after he took a beating from Barrera.
17 of Barrera's 27 connected punches in the 8th were power shots.
Whoa, step out.
And surely Pat Russell speaks for the whole sport, everybody in it, when he says to Ayala, I don't want to see you take a beating.
Watch those heads.
9th round of a scheduled 12. You heard Henry Mendez saying to Ayala, we need all these rounds. And
all right, stop punching.
there's the spirit. There's the bravery as Ayala continues to try to chug forward.
Ayala has gone the distance in 9 of his last 10 fights. It would take some extraordinary will for him to make it through these last 4 rounds.
But one thing that you're saying too, Larry, that even if he does make it, it's going to be very difficult to score a knockout victory because it's historically shown that he doesn't knock out guys in the late rounds.
10 fights in a row, going the distance. Barrera has had some late knockouts, and among them the KO of Kennedy McKinney in the first boxing after dark fight.
But what Barrera is doing, once Paulie gets in close, he starts shooting punches from underneath where Paulie can't see him instead of shooting just straight punches over top.
The win over McKinney, Feb 3, 1996, was a TKO in the 12th.
I remember, didn't Barrera go down himself?
Yeah, he was down late in that fight. He was down in either the 10th or the 11th, I forget which, but he had floored McKinney multiple times in the fight. There's the counter-punching skill again. Now he goes back to firing the jab. Beautiful trunks, beautiful game plan,
All right, don't hit that kidney.
beautiful
Step back up.
execution,
Beautiful
beautiful
shoes.
rebound from the devastating loss to Pacquiao. Oh yes, and the shoes are terrific. Well, this will restore some of Barrera's faith in himself. His fight against Pacquiao in San Antonio was his first fight under his new contract with Oscar De La Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions Company, and after the fight,
Punch him right there. Let him go.
he
Step
personally apologized to De La Hoya, saying, "I dishonored your company."
Yeah, and I respect to them. They did not lose faith in him. They stayed with him. In fact, he had one fight counsel, so they tried to bring him back.
Watch your head. Step out. Now go.
Even though he's winning his fight very comfortable with Paulie, I still can see problems possible with Pacquiao, because Pacquiao fights with a little bit more intensity, a lot more spirit.
Well, I
But
mean,
it would be a good fight
Paulie
still.
Ayala is a lukewarm finger bowl here tonight compared to the raging fire that is Pacquiao every time he comes into the ring. Hard left hand by Ayala, his best punch of the fight. Barrera got a little bit careless in trading with him.
Well, that's what happens. And thank God he's not a big puncher.
That's the way, baby. That's the way. You gotta see. You got to put that pressure, and those lead left. And once in a while, bring it up. You'll catch him every time. Okay. You gotta put him pressure like that. Make him back out. Don't let him get set to where he can throw those
How's that
uppers.
lift, Chuck?
It's all right. It's all
Okay.
right. Yeah.
How you doing, Paulie? Good. Round 10?
Yeah. He's
Okay.
fine. He's fine. Yeah. See, the lead left swing and the uppers will kill this guy. Okay. But you gotta throw him. Okay. You gotta double out. Okay. Come on, baby. How you feel, man? Good. All right. Look, you're doing good. You started coming back real good that round. That's what you got to do the rest of the fight.
Even though Barrera got hit with some punches, which was good, clean punches, never did he appear to be hurt. It seemed to just say, I got hit with 2 good, clean punches, and that was it.
Barrera had his slowest round of the fight in the 10th, 15 out of 48 by CompuBox numbers. You saw the 2 good punches that landed for Ayala late in the round. Harold, how do you have it scored through 9?
Okay, Jim, I gave Paulie Ayala the 9th round. 8-1, 89-80, Marco Antonio Barrera. Jim, let's explain the 8th round a little bit. When you knock a guy down once, it becomes a 10-8 round. You knock him down twice, a 10-7 round. So Marco Antonio Barrera wins the 8th round by 10-7. Paulie Ayala only wins that 9th round.
They butt heads momentarily. Pat Russell notifies the scorers. There's no blood.
All right, well, hold on.
We saw Jermaine Taylor,
Just let him go.
hot American middleweight prospect, rebound from a bleeding headbutt cut in the first fight to dominate Raul Marquez. No blood here in what has been a technical tour de force for Barrera against Ayala.
Okay, free hand, step out, watch your head.
I think Ayala's comeback was short-lived.
Yes.
Good left hook to the body by Barrera. Again, they touch heads.
Come here. Another headbutt.
Amazingly,
coming in. Let's go.
Barrera almost changed expression.
Yeah, but I almost. For the most part, it's still stone-faced.
Yep.
Watch your head, step back.
Barrera getting underneath Ayala there to be safe as their heads nearly came together again.
Watch his head. Free him up, Marco. Let those hands go. Let him go. You don't need me.
Straight right hand countered by Barrera. Ayala's hurt again. Takes a vicious body shot. Pat Russell's going to stop the fight. Pat Russell's going to stop it right there. You saw the pain in in Ayala's face.
As we were saying earlier, Jim, from being such an aggressive fighter, become a very dangerous counterpuncher. Good technical fighter and a good counterpuncher.
How many times have you seen a fighter kneel immediately to comfort a fallen opponent?
Tremendous right hand and then follow with a left hook to the liver on top of that, just to be sure.
Tremendous sportsmanship for Marco Antonio Barrera, and he allows himself a smile in the wake of a dominant knockout win.
It's a great victory for Golden Boy Promotions, too.
That was Richard Schaefer, the president of Golden Boy, with the big smile on his face. There's the solid right counter. Brilliant left hook. Straight left hand. Right cross. And watch the body shot. Boom. That was the end of the fight. That left hook to the body. Barrera, patient enough to watch and see if Ayala was going to go all the way down, and he took advantage of the opportunity to deliver that Mexican liver shot.
Yeah, he just had to do that.
Well, you're not a professional if you don't, right?
And that's very unusual, especially when you're fighting a southpaw. Most guys don't even try to punch the left hooks to the body.
Yeah, well, most guys don't get that clear and open shot at a guy who's half bent over, all stove in from a series of great punches. Let's go to Michael Buffer for the official particulars on the TKO.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Pat Russell calls a halt to this contest. The official time, 2 minutes, 34 seconds of round number 10. The winner by knockout victory, the baby-face assassin, is back, Marco Antonio Barrera.
So some questions are answered. More might have been answered had Ayala been able to bring more to the party. Instead, it was largely a mismatch from the outset, as a determined Marco Antonio Barrera proved that he had reconstructed his game in the wake of the Pacquiao debacle and took Ayala apart patiently, tactically, over the course of 10 rounds.
Yes, I would have liked to still have Storm perform against a much more spirited and aggressive fighter.
137 out of 444 jabs. More than 40 jabs per round from a guy who was once an all-out slugging warrior. Larry Merchant stands by with the great Marco Antonio Barrera.
Thank you very much, Jim. Congratulations. Marco, how do you feel coming out of such a one-sided dominant performance after your defeat by Pacquiao?
¿Cómo te sientes hoy en día después de esta victoria dominante, después de la derrota que tuviste antes de Pacquiao?
Bueno, me siento muy contento, primero por el apoyo de HBO, el apoyo de la gente. Bueno, creo que demostré que estoy de regreso. Lo que pasó ese noviembre fue una mala noche y pues estamos listos para repetir esa pelea.
I feel very good, very comfortable. I want to thank HBO and Golden Boy Promotions. It shows that I'm back, and that what happened in November was a bad night.
You said to us yesterday that you have a hard head, you want to fight Pacquiao again. Is that how you feel?
Nos dijiste que tú eres medio testarudo, que quieres pelear con Pacquiao otra vez. ¿Eso cómo sientes?
Sí, fue como lo dije, soy un mexicano de esos necios, que no entiendo con una, que quiero la segunda para poder entender bien.
Yeah, and I'm that type of Mexican, a hard-headed Mexican. I need the second fight to learn the lesson.
All right, the two other fighters we here named are Eric Morales, of course, for a third fight, or possibly Injin Chi, the very tough Korean fighter who also has a title. What are your thoughts about them?
¿Cuáles son tus pensamientos en lo que estamos escuchando? ¿Una tercera pelea con Eric Morales o tal vez una pelea con el coreano Injin Chi, que es campeón pluma?
Bueno, yo ahorita sería muy difícil querer decir con quién pelear. Vamos regresando. Vamos a tener una dura pelea con este gran peleador como lo es Paulie Ayala. Y si es una tercera pelea con Eric Morales, recuerde que está dedicada para usted.
Yeah. It's kind of hard after this difficult fight that we had with this man here, but if it's a third fight with Eric Morales, it's going to be dedicated to you.
Just this last question, Marco. Deep down inside, were there some doubts after the Pacquiao fight that you feel that for yourself you had to prove were just doubts?
¿Habían algunas dudas bien dentro de ti, de que tú pudieras hacer lo que estás haciendo después de la pelea de Pacquiao?
No, no había ninguna duda. Lo que pasa es que tener peleas con muchísimos problemas, tanto arriba como abajo del ring, licenciados, muchas dificultades que tuve, yo creo que es lo que me quitó el equilibrio, pero no le pongo pretexto a la victoria que puso Pacquiao, me ganó bien, pero ya que estoy bien entrenado serían diferentes.
No, there wasn't any doubt. What was wrong was of all the problems, everything that went on, but a well-trained Barrera is back, and here I am to please everyone.
Thank you. Congratulations again.